Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF, a brand new Masechta, Maseches Bava Metzia, DAF Beis, says the Mishnah. Shnaim oichsen betawas. You have two people grabbing hold of a garment. Ze omer ani mitzosio. Reuben says, look, I found this lying on the street, it's mine. Shimon responds likewise, well, I found it, not you. And they continue further. Reuben claims the whole thing is his. Shimon claims likewise, it's all mine. The Gemara, of course, will dwell on this repetition. Why mitzosiyah and then kula shali? Why isn't one of them enough? It's pretty much repeating the same point. Now Rashi points out something interesting. Rashi on top, Dafka Eichzen. Why does the Mishnah speak about them holding on to physically grabbing hold of a talus? Dafka Eichzen, Dafka because they're specifically actually holding it. The Shnei Muchzokim, but they're both in possession of the item. Ve'ein lezeh koyach bo yosim rizeh. In which case, none of these individuals have more in on the thing. They're not more in possession. They don't have an exertion of ownership on it more than the other fellow, because they're both holding it equally. Because theoretically, if only one was actually holding it and the other one would be claiming the item as his, it would change the whole equation. Right? When you try to extract something which your friend is holding, it's a totally different approach. You have to prove your case. The onus is on you. You have to prove it with witnesses. An oath is not sufficient basis for granting you ownership, even part ownership in this item. You have to prove your case with Edom, etc. Here it's different, because they're both equally muhzak, and they're both holding on to it physically, in possession of this item, and therefore the Mishnah continues to tell us what we do. They'll both end up with half the item. Okay? So once again, they're holding it, claiming it as theirs. Says the Mishnah, what do we do? First of all, Reuben makes a shvua. I swear that my part in this item, meaning my portion, my ownership, is no less than 50%. We want him to. The Gemara will go into all these different, expressions and options of what they can be saying. But the reason why we chose it this way, the Gemara explains, because we don't want them to swear falsely. We don't want you, to get up and say, "Well, I swear it's mine." He'll say the same thing, because then it's sort of a clash. It's no less than half mine, and he says the same thing. It's no less than half mine. This way, it allows us to give them. Each one gets half, and they walk away with at least half. So each fellow says, look, it's no less than half mine, and we split it evenly. Each fellow walks away with 50%. Now, that's only because they both claimed full, complete ownership on this item. So it's a, direct clash, which prompts this sort of split. What about if there's some sort of partial concession? Reuben claims the whole thing as his. I picked it up first. And Shimon sort of agrees partially. You know what? It's not all yours. It's half mine, because we both picked it up together. So basically, if you want to break it down into parts, so on 50% there's no discussion. Even Shimon agrees that half belongs to Reuben. So that's out of the equation. We give him 50%. And regarding the last, the remainder, on that we have a machlekes, a disagreement between Reuben, who says, well, it's all mine, and Shimon says, well, it's mine. That 50% is totally mine, because I'm not to split the whole thing with you, so I get 50%. So that's the topic of the next debate. It's all mine. Well, it's half mine. So Reuben will make a shvua, but this time it's a bit different. I own no less than 3/4 of this item. That's his shvua. And Shimon, who claims half the item, will claim I have no less than 1/4. Rashi explains, because even Shimon agrees that if half belongs to Reuven, Machlekes is only in the second half, so we split that into two. He'll end up with 75% of the total item, and Shimon with 25%. Right? He gets 3 out of 4 parts, 75%. And his opponent, Noitel Revia, takes only 25%. Continues the Mishnah, just as we have the halacha regarding 2 people clutching an item. What about 2 people riding an animal? 2 people riding on a behemoth. Or, alternatively, one guy was riding it, one guy was leading it, grabbing the reins. And the same thing, it was something they found in the street, it's hefker. We have the same disagreement. Verdict is, right? No less than half is mine. The same thing. What if they agree to each other? Well, this is obvious halacha, the Gemara will discuss it. Or they have edim to support their case. In this case, we don't need to make a shvua. They split without a shvua. The Gemara will discuss exactly what this means. Asks the Gemara, why the repeated language? Why does the Mishnah have to begin with, well, I found it, and then continue? That's not enough. It's all mine. Why this redundancy? Why do we need Ani Misasiyah telling us how I got it, I found it, and then well, it's all mine. Well, obviously, if you found it, it's yours. Listening, chada. One of these should be enough. Well, there is only one. Chada katani. So one expression, it's one claim. Reuben says, I found it, and therefore it's mine, totally. And likewise, Shimon is saying the same. Well, obviously, but listening, the mission should just stop in the middle. It should say, and we know, obviously, Yadana will figure out on our own that he meant to say it's all mine. Why do we have to continue? Well, if the only mission would only say that first part, I would say, you know what mitzvah means? I noticed it. My mitzvah means I saw it, I noticed it. And even though he didn't actually take physical possession of the item, I would think that is sufficient to be koine from hefker, to acquire from something which is ownerless. Just taking note of something sitting in the street makes it yours. I would think so. If it would only say mitzvah, I found it, I discovered it, I noticed it. No, tana kula shali, that's what the Mishnah adds, it's all mine. To indicate that noticing is not enough. The b'riyah loikani. Rather, you have to actually physically pick it up. Rashi says, kula shali means, bechazoka gemura, shigbati tchila, I picked it up before you. V'ata tafasta miyadi, mishazachisiba, says Rashi. He claims that, well, Shimon, you grabbed it from me after I already picked it up and physically took it into my possession. Asks the Gemara, why would I think mitzvah means I noticed it? Umi matzas amris. How can you suggest what does mitzvah mean? Riyasiyah, I noticed it. Va'amar Rav told us. This is actually back in Bava Metzia, if you remember. Umitzasa. The pasuk speaks about a fellow finding a lost item, and if it's owned by a Yisrael, you have to go return it. The asal yad mashma, even though it's in his hands, we say, well, only if it's a Yisrael's item, you have to return it. If it has a siman, a sign, identifying sign. But if it's a guy's item, there's no din of Shabbos Haved. Even though you actually have it, you can just keep it. The asal yad mashma. So you see that the word mitzvah on the pasuk means physical possession. Here as well, mitzvah means physical possession. How could you say otherwise? Says, well, you're right. When we had the word mitzvah in a pasuk, the kra, the asal yad mashma means it's in his hands. Umil Tana, but the Tana of the Mishnah, listen to Almanakat. He typically relates to common expression, the way people speak. You know how people speak. Once you see it, you say, I found it. Amar Anashkachas, I found it. Even though truthfully he never picked it up. He thinks Buriya Ba'amakani. Right? Just being around and noticing. I would think that's enough to be kind of. That's why the Mishnah has to add, to dispel all misconceptions. Tani kula shalit, to tell you, no, it needs to be physically picked up. The b'ri'iyah ba'amal leikani, just noticing is not enough. Loikani. Asks the Gemara, okay, so that's why even once it says Matzasiyah, we have to add Kula Shali to indicate this point. But what about the other way? If you're listening, it should have said the second part, Kula Shali, it's all mine, I physically acquired it. Without the first expression of Ani Matzasiyah, let it go the other way. This way we avoid any misunderstanding. Says the Gemara, Itani Kula Shali, if it would say the words Kula Shali, I still would think, Havamina, I would say, Ba'am L'Tani Matzasiyah, wherever else. Whenever we have a halacha, a mishnah where it says mitzvasiyah, Rashi says wherever we speak about a person finding a mitzvah, the halacha of finding a lost item, and if it's hefker, you keep it. I would think, noticing it is enough. You don't have to actually physically pick it up. That's what I would think. I wouldn't know otherwise. That's why the Mishnah goes the other way. It starts with Ani Mitzvah to tell us an interesting point. You should know that seeing is not ownership. Noticing is not a kinyan. And then it says, and then followed by the words Kula to tell you, the Mishnah is Seira, Ashminan, this extra Mishnah, this extra expression, now Mishnah comes to teach us this very point. The Riyah Loikani never is Riyah enough. Says the Gemara, so how could you learn that really Reuben is just saying one thing? I found it by picking it up. How can you suggest that it's all one thing? How many times is the word zeh found in the Mishnah? Over and over again, right? Then again, so clearly, it's not just. It should have said if it's one continuous statement. Some say this answer was provided by Kidi. Some learn Kidi means, Rashi somewhere says Shem Chacham. It was the name of a Chacham. Some learn that Kidi is basically not a name, but it's just relating to a Chacham whose name we don't know. It's like said anonymous, right? In any case, whoever it was answered this question. You're right. You're 100% right. The Mishnah is describing two separate disputes, two separate arguments relating to two separate incidents. Reisha Metzia. Firstly, we speak about finding a lost item from Hefker. That's the first part. Ani Mitzasiyah and Ani Mitzasiyah. The Seifa, the second part, where it's Zay Mekula Shali and the same with the other guy, B'mekach Memker. Oh, it's a totally new discussion. They were involved in buying an item. And they both were vying for that item. Reuben says, what do you mean? I handed the money first, I bought it. Shimon says, I bought it. So it's pretty much the same idea. The question is, who owns it? The Mishnah says they have to split it. And Rashi points out something very interesting. That it's dafka in this type of case where it's mekach memka, that you can say there is there is room to think that perhaps the owner, the vendor, was willing to sell it to both, and he took money from both, hoping to work something out. So in this case, we say, look, split it, and that's it. But let's say the debate is so outlandish and unrealistic. Look, I sewed this suit. No, I sewed this suit. It's impossible. Here Rashi says, you don't split, you don't make a achlika. We know one of them is being dishonest. Vada, right? So here we just leave it till Yoel Navi comes and we take care of it then. So in any case, now Mishnah we discuss a case of Metzia and a case of Mekach Memka Tzricha, and there was a reason why the Mishnah troubled itself to go through both cases, meaning there's an element of Chiddush, something to teach us in each one of these two cases. The Yitana Metzia, if we only speak about a Metzia, Havamina, I would say Metzia who the Ram Rabban Shvuah. I understand why there Rabbanan imposed a Shvuah to verify what happened. Mishum de Moed B'Omer, because perhaps each party, the wrong party, right? The fellow was in the wrong. Moed B'Omer. Moed B'Omer means like a Murah Heter. He sort of excuses himself, and he's thinking, you know what? Big deal. It wasn't like, he bought it. He found it in the street. Okay. You win some, you lose some. Chavroi, my friend here, love me the chasaba. He didn't really lose any. He didn't spend money on this item. So even though he really got it first, let me share it with him. It's enough for both of us, right? Ezel itvis. Let me grab it. Be spalik badei, and I'll split it with him. No, make a shvua. Oh, hopefully that will verify the truth. When it comes to buying something, there is no excuse. He wants the item. He's dying for the item. All right, you have to grab it from him. So perhaps there's no reason to impose a shvua. Apparently, you're saying the truth. Maybe the owner was willing to give it to both of you, and therefore you make a yachlek. There's no reason to impose a shvua. No, says the Mishnah, no, a shvua is necessary to verify the truth. We only discuss case number 2. I would say, Havamina Hasam with the Rama Rabban Shmuel over there, the Rabban trigger the shvua Mishnah, the Meir Bamar, because still a person can sort of excuse himself by saying Chavroid make a yoy, Vanoda make a yahivna, we're both paying for it, so now that I'm desperate for it, I'll get it, even though I'm not really supposed to be getting it. He really bought it first, but let me grab it. My friend will find another store to buy the same item. Lezo, Litrach, Lisbon will go find himself another source to acquire this item. So that's a Meir Heter. So perhaps, using this rationale, a person will sort of excuse himself for being dishonest. Bava Metzia. So that's why we make a shvua to verify. Bava Metzia, when it comes to a lost item, there's no justification. What are you doing grabbing something that belongs to your friend? He found it first. There's no way to find another mitzvah. Go find another mitzvah, right? So there, perhaps the fact that I'm insisting that it's mine is an indication of truth, and I don't need to make a shvua. That's why we need the Mishnah to teach us. Well, in both cases, we want to verify till the end without any ambiguity. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean? They're arguing about who bought it? How's that possible? Let's see who paid him. Let's ask the vendor, whose money did he take? Right? And he's the rightful customer. Let's the answer is like this. He took from both. They both were standing and shoving the money. So he actually decided he'll sell it to Reuven. So he took his money willingly. And we're concerned that perhaps Shimon just shoved the money down and he didn't really want to take it from Shimon. We're not sure who. Who's the right customer, who's the wrong one. And therefore we go through the process of figuring it out. Asks the Gemara. Now at the end of the day, they're both making a shvur. Right? Both of them. Even though we have concern that perhaps one of them is being dishonest. Perhaps this opinion reflected in our Mishnah is the loki bananas. It's not following bananas because bananas holds we don't do this. Diki bananas. Omar, he tells us elsewhere, Ketzad elu ve'elu boin l'deishva shav. How can both parties be brought to be making a false shvua? Where is he speaking? So Rashi says there's a halacha called chenvani, a grocer al pinkasei, about his ledger. So basically, the boss tells the grocer, go provide lunch for my workers. Okay, I owe them money. Here, buy for them. Provide lunch, and he claims he gave it to them, and they say they never got the lunch. Basically, they're both coming back and laying a claim against the balabais. The grocer wants his money for allegedly supplying the lunch. The worker says, I never got my lunch, you owe me. The Mishnah says they both make a shvua and they both get money from the balabayas. Bananas disagrees. No. How can you orchestrate a situation where somebody is making a shvua shav? Rather, says bananas, they both get their money without a shvua. That's a discussion over there. So how would we allow two people who claim ownership on a metzia to make a shvua? One of them is, right? Says, well, no. I feel bananas. Our Mishnah can work with bananas as well. Big difference. Hassam over there by the grocer with the Vada ikashva. We know for sure somebody's lying. Either he gave them the lunch or he didn't, right? Here we can say the lekashva. There's nobody lying because it's possible. Or we can speculate that Tarvai of both parties, they both picked it up at the same time. They lifted the item off the ground simultaneously. So technically it's possible that they're both partners in this item, and therefore the shvur that they're making, which as we explained before, actually is a very careful shvur. I own no less than half. That's possible for two people to have that claim, that ownership. And therefore we let it through. Furthermore, but our mission doesn't follow sumchas. You know why? Because according to him, he tells us elsewhere, whenever there's a question mark regarding ownership, money which is mutal b'safek, which is in a state of uncertainty, we just split it. That's it. Take 50, you take 50. Without making a shvur. Our Mishnah, which requires a shvur, is not going like sumchas. Well, ve'elamai rabbanon. Okay, so what's the alternative? We're going like the shittas rabbanon. We disagree with sumchas. But it doesn't either work. If you want to take something out from your friend, you have to prove your case with Adam. You can't just lay claim to something like that. And here now, Mishnah, we just split it equally. We give you half without Adam. So our Mishnah, which says, well, you need a shvur, that's not like sumchas. But the Mishnah which says you just split it without providing any solid proof is not like the Rabbanan. So it's basically in limbo. Who's the Mishnah? Who's speaking here? Hi, Mai. No. It can still work like the Rabbanan. Because here it's slightly different. Hasam. The case where they say, that you need to prove your case, that's where they're both not holding on to it. Amar Rabbanan say, look, right? Frugan has it, you don't. You want to take it out, you have to prove your case. But Hacha, here it's different. Tavai Tafs, they're both physically holding on to it. They both have it. There's no Maitzi Mechaveroi, says Rashi. I'm not taking it from you, I also have it. So it makes sense that Pagla Bishvur. If we make a shvur, we can just split it. So according to Rabbanan, we can work the Mishnah. But according to Sumchas, it doesn't work. Ela'id Amras Sumchas, who says that you just split things equally without, fussing. Hashta. Well, now Umahosam Deloy Tafshi Tavayo. Well, look, it's not going to work according to Sumchas, because even in the case over there where they're not both holding on to it, one of them has it, the other one's trying to get it out. Still, Sumchas says it's in a state of uncertainty. It's an unknown. They just split it without fuss. So certainly in our case, where they're both actually equally grabbing it, of course they would split it without a shvur. So it doesn't work according to Sumchas. No, it says the Gemara, it can work according to him. Ki Amar Sumchas. When does Sumchas say you split? Shema b'Shema, when they're both not 100% sure. There's a whole story there about animal giving birth, we don't know, right? So then we say, take the easy route. Allah is you split it. Awal bari loy. Omar, but if there is a solid argument on both sides of the coin, you don't just split it. There's no yachleiku unless you verify at least with ishvu. Ask some more, hold it. According to his version of Sumchas, Amar, he says, Amar Sumchas, afilu bari. Sumchas, his opinion holds even by bari against the bari. You just say yachleiku, Michael and so then why is our case different? Why don't we just say yachleiku without a shvu? No, it can work even according to Sumchas, because here there is some element of difference. When does Sumchas say Yachleiku is the right approach? When there's something called Drover Devamayna, which according to Rashi means somebody's going to be missing, somebody's going to be losing out. Right? If he's in the right, then he's going to lose. If he's in the right, then he's going to lose. So the best way is Yachleiku. But in our story, Rashi says nobody's losing, because it's only a Metzia, and I guess he didn't spend money on it, etc. So over here you don't say Yachleiku. Ask someone, what do you mean? If anything, reason goes the other way around. We have a kavachim. Lamar. If in the case where there is a good chance that somebody's losing money, whoever is going to lose the case, whoever is really in the right, is losing money by giving up half. Right? You say Yachleiku, even though really somebody should be getting 100%, the rightful owner. There is a potential loss being applied to either Ruvain, who really owns it and now has to give up half, and likewise to Shimon. Tosis has a different, according to Tosis, Dror Moina means it's a situation which presents itself inherently as an uncertainty, without their arguments. There's a question of when the animal gave birth, all that. That's something which is inherently an unknown. Right? So being that it's uncertain, you can very much say it either belongs fully to you or fully to you. And Rashi learns ikal is an additional point. Va'oid, it's certainly either fully his or fully his. Right? It's not like the case of picking up an item. It could be, simultaneous. There, it's either his or his. Still, what does Simchas say? Amar Simchas, I don't care. Mammon hamutal b'safik chelkan. If you have money, whose owner is unknown, right? You just say split it. B'lei shvur, without further shvur. So even when it's likely that somebody's losing on it, right? It appears actually somebody is losing. Whoever the rightful owner is giving up half. Still, we do that. In our case, here we don't have these aspects. First of all, there's no Dura D'Ramayna. Apparently, finding a lost, giving up part of a lost of a found item is not considered Dura D'Ramayna, or in the case of the Mekach HaMemker, is getting his money back, right? So we don't have that aspect. And also, Rashi says, the Ikal is an additional factor. Void, you can very well say that the Ikal Tavayihu, it really belongs to both. Let's say in the case of the Metzia, they both picked it up together, right? Lo Ikoshkin, of course. You would just split it. There's a good chance that you're hitting it right on. It's a good solution, 50%, 50%. So why would you make a shvua? Why would you make a shvua? Says the Gemara, no, afilu tema sumchas, it can work even according to sumchas. The shvua is not really required minat Torah. Shvua zu midrabbananhi is a special oath imposed by the Chachamim to keep people honest. As Rabbi Yehuda teaches us, Rabbi Yehuda, shvua zu takanas Chachamim, it's a special takana established by the Chachamim. Why? Shelo yehei kol echad ve'echad hoylech, to dissuade one from just going over v'toikev b'talis shachaver and grabbing on to his friend's talis and claim it as his. So in order to avoid this type of dishonesty, Chacham said, you know what? You can't just grab something and say it's mine. Sure, yachleik, but with a shvur. Okay, so bottom line, let's recap today's DAF. Two cases discussed in the Mishnah. Two people arguing about a Metzia that they found, or about a item that they purchased. He said it's all mine. He said it's all mine. By the Metzia, we need physical possession. You can't just be koineh through Re'iyah. Mishnah says we split it with a shvur, and it can work both ways. It can go like the Rabbanan. Typically, we say ha'motzim chavel v'raya, but since there's no mitzi, they're both holding it, so they do yachleika with a shvur. And according to Simchas, although typically we say yachleika without a shvur, but here, especially takanas hachamim, we want to avoid any dishonesty. We say, you know what? Split it, but first make a shvur to support your case. All the best to you and Atzlacha Rabbah.